as well as just like all things woo-woo.
Right.
So it's kind of fun. So I'm like really interested in doing, I mean, like Reiki would be so fun to talk about. Hey friend, welcome to the Ready to Rise podcast with your host, me, Audrey Rose. This is the podcast all about taking your life to the next level. Join me on my journey as I create a life that I'm obsessed to wake up for every day. I hope that you are ready to create a life that you really, really love. Are you ready to rise?
I was living in Los Angeles and I was a fashion designer. So I had been working in the fashion industry for about 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And it was really wearing on me. It was becoming sort of this imbalance in my life where I gave so much to work and I really didn't have like a social life. And I really wasn't getting back what I was giving to the job, to the career. And on top of that, it was also very toxic. The people were very toxic. The environments, work environments were toxic. The expectations were toxic. And I think I was at a point of burnout. And it really all started with yoga for me.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just started doing a little bit of yoga here and there. And then I would say about, this was in 2016, a friend of mine said, why don't you take this yoga certification with me?
Cool.
And yes. And I said, I really don't even think I don't know enough about yoga to do this. And I remember that night, it was like the last night to sign up, and it was the most money I'd ever spent on myself. Mm-hmm. And I remember buying it, like maxing out my credit card. And, and I remember just crying because I was like, oh my God, what have I done? I tried to like get the purchase back and everything.
Oh my gosh.
And it was scary for me, I think, at the time, and the mindset I was in. And so, it was actually one of the most beautiful transformational experiences of my life. And I think it really changed the course of my life because it actually opened me up to, spirit inside me, to source inside me. I had compassion for myself for the first time in my entire life. And so it was really beautiful. It was a really beautiful, sort of like cracking me open experience. And I think I knew once I finished the training that I no longer wanted to be a designer, that I wanted to help people, that I wanted to be of service, to be a healer.
What a big change.
Yes. Yeah. And it didn't happen right away. It took a few years for it to really grow and change. So after that, my first yoga certification, I became a certified crystal healer. And then I got certified in Reiki 1 and then certified in Reiki 2. And then I took another yoga certification. I took intuitive energy healing courses, intuitive development courses. I learned how to read the tarot. And then finally, I got a Reiki master in Holy Fire Reiki, which ultimately really changed everything for me. And started my own business in the meantime, teaching yoga, meditation, all of that. I do weekly meditations now, and they're great to connect with your intuition, to restore, your energy and your nervous system, and to activate certain parts of you. And then I also do light language as well.
I would love to hear more about the light language as well. Like, that is so cool.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's new for me. That's like been coming up a little bit too. And it's interesting how, like what you were just saying, like, it's so interesting how your path, once you open up to something, it just kind of like leads you to the next thing and then the next thing. And you're feeling a little bit more whole and then a little bit more inspired. And then you get another like tip and, you just kind of keep going. Can we talk a little bit about the difference between Reiki 1 and 2? Or is that just kind of like the way that the course just kind of like overlaps itself, or?
Yeah. So typically, traditional Reiki, which is Usui Reiki, is taught in level 1, level 2, and Reiki Master. And then you can even go deeper than that. You can become a licensed teacher. You can go to Karuna. And so basically what I do is I was certified in traditional Usui Reiki. And then I got my Reiki master in Holy Fire, which is part of also the same constructs of Usui. It's just like kind of a different lineage, I guess.
Okay.
And then I went back and retook 1 and 2 in Holy Fire because for me, Holy Fire just was completely different, and energy of it was much, I don't know, it was just stronger. It was just beautiful. So Reiki level 1 is I usually teach 1 and 2 together. So I'll do a complete weekend of training, and Saturday will be Reiki level 1 and Sunday will be Reiki level 2. Now, some people teach it differently. They'll teach just Reiki 1 or just Reiki 2. So Reiki level 1 is really introducing you to Reiki, the history of Reiki, what it means to have this Reiki energy moving through your body, and you are tuned to the Reiki energy. So you have like a placement and attunement, and that Reiki energy begins to run through your body, and it begins to upgrade your cells and to increase your vibration and your frequency. So it actually raises that. And so that's Reiki level 1. Reiki level 2 is now you're becoming attuned to these symbols. So there's 3 symbols that you're taught in level 2. And one of them is, one of them is a distant symbol. So this is the level that you can become a practitioner at. So level 1 is really, it's about maybe treating yourself or your family members. And level 2, you're getting an upgrade of the energy again. And then you're also being attuned to these symbols. And these symbols are sort of like, they're sort of like ignited within you. And and for Holy Fire, it's igniting a flame in your soul.
Oh my God.
It's igniting that Holy Fire flame. Yeah. And so the whole premise behind Holy Fire is you're working with God, Holy Spirit, and Jesus, and the Holy Fire. And so it's like such a beautiful energy. So yeah, you're attuned to those. You can become a practitioner. You can give people Reiki. You can, start your own business. You can give it to yourself. You can do it distantly because the energy is upgraded, especially in Holy Fire, so that once the energy goes to a certain frequency and it raises and raises, really it doesn't know time or space like we do here on Earth. Like humans have constructed time and space, but that's sort of, it really is this illusion, because the energy doesn't understand that. The energy, if I'm giving you Reiki now, you're going to get it now because it doesn't understand that we're, maybe across the country.
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah. And it's like, but it works that way. Like you can actually do that.
Yeah. It's powerful. It really is. And so the difference between traditional Usui and Holy Fire, which is they're taught under the same sort of umbrella. Like you're still going to get the same symbols for level 2. Now, when you go to master, you get a different symbol, but going back to level 2, it's taught in a similar way. The difference is the attunement process. And so in traditional, you're attuned by your teacher. Your teacher will put their hands on you and it will move through them. Now, Holy Fire comes from a straight higher level of consciousness, and it moves right into, like I said, into your heart, into your soul, and ignites that flame. And so it's a lot more potent. It's a lot stronger and cleaner because it's not moving through anybody. So it's really beautiful.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I'm like trying to understand everything because that's like,
it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, I know.
But it's like amazing that it can just come from within you. Like, I don't know. Does it take a lot of, this is going to sound so stupid, but does it take a lot of time to build that so that then it's like stronger within you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. 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 So there's a 30-day sort of grace period, integration period, I'll call it, after Reiki, after you're attuned. And in that time, you really want to be practicing Reiki every day to strengthen it. You really want to incorporate it into your life, into your daily ritual. You want to eat healthy foods. You want to try to not drink alcohol as much, because these things do affect that energy. So there's an integration period, and it can get stronger. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Now, something that you had said earlier about, that flame is ignited within you, but every time you're giving Reiki, it's not coming from your energy. It's always coming from the higher energy. And so you're never depleted of your energy. So picture it as like this beautiful light coming in through your crown, moving down into your heart center, and then moving out down your arms and through to your hands.
So you're like a channel almost.
Exactly. You're the vessel, you're the channel for this energy.
That's I'm so glad you said that, because honestly, there have been times where I feel so heavy and I feel like I'm definitely an empath, but like, just when I'm going through my day-to-day life, I feel like I'm, I have a lot of stuck energy sometimes, but then I'm almost scared to go to like a Reiki professional or a Reiki master, because I'm like, I don't want to bring this to them. Like, that's not fair. So it's really interesting that you say that. Like, that really actually never clicked for me before, that like, it's not going to like pass everything on to them or drain them of their energy. Like, they are actually able to just, channel it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're taught not to take on that energy. And so we're just that conduit. And we're also getting a Reiki healing as it's moving through us, which is very interesting, because the Reiki energy is moving through us. And that's why people go. That's why people go to get a Reiki session, because maybe they have a lot of anxiety, or they feel heavy or stuck or blocked. And maybe they've just gone through a traumatic situation in their lives, or it's a beautiful process. Like, I still go and get a Reiki treatment because, healers got to heal too. I try to take care of myself energetically as well.
I think like that's the title of this episode. Healers got to heal too. Like, it's so true. And I think just like as a side note, like my podcast is definitely dedicated towards, women who are like finding themselves and learning and learning how to heal. And that's so like one of those cliche statements, putting the oxygen on yourself first if the plane crashes, that kind of thing. But it's so true. Like, if we're not taking care of ourselves, then, how can we go about being best service for other people?
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit more about, Holy Fire Reiki. Like, I know you've already kind of talked about it, but just like in depth, like this is also something you can do virtual. And how do you do this with your clients? Like, is this a group thing? Is it one-on-one? How engaged do they have to be? Or is it just kind of like, they lay still, that kind of a thing, like for a certain amount of time, like through Zoom? Or is it just kind of, I don't know, energetically? I've heard of some Reiki masters who do like energetically do like Reiki, I guess you could say, at a certain time, if that makes sense. Like, they're not on a Zoom call. They're just like, hey, around 9 p.m., I'm going to send you some vibes. I don't know. I'm obviously not a practitioner.
Yeah. No, that's definitely something that can be done. So the whole premise, that's kind of the whole premise also of the distance symbol is, you can say, I'm going to send you Reiki at, like you said, 9 p.m. tonight. So be open to receiving it on your side, be lying down, be in a restful state, in a peaceful state, and so that you can receive it. That's one way to do it. Definitely. So when I hold a session for what I do, and I don't really think there's any right or wrong way. I just think it's the practitioner's choice of how they want to have the session. I think everybody works differently, and I think that's beautiful. I request a Zoom session. I like to be with my clients on the Zoom. I like to see them. I like to interact with them. And typically what I do is I'll have once we have the Zoom session up, I've got music on, I've got maybe my sound bowls, and I've got my crystals, because I use my crystals in my sessions. I have an energy healing board, which I like to use because It's got all the chakras on them. And that's something I do. I go in through all the chakra systems and their information, so they're portals in our body and they hold information. So I open them up, I balance them. I also have a piece of paper, so I'll write down any intuitive messages that are happening. And so in the beginning of the session, I'll say, what are you looking for in the treatment today? Is it emotional? Is it physical? Is it, what's going on? And is it mental? And so we'll chat, and then they'll pretty much lie down, and they don't have to be near the camera when they're lying down, but I'll give the session using my energy board, and then I'll, bring them back. And I'll chat about, I'll give them usually channeled messages as like an energy reading, I guess you could say. I'll give them an intuitive energy reading after. And I like to have oracle cards as well, just to include that as a message. I'll intuitively pull crystals, and that'll be like, okay, I know I need to work on your root chakra today. Are you not feeling safe? Like what's going on? Did you just have a move? I'm feeling like something's shaky in your foundation. What's happening? So that'll like give me also intuitive hits on what's going on with them.
So I know you kind of already mentioned this, but you're able to kind of, I don't want to say block your energy because that's not what you're doing, but you're able to kind of shield your energy in a way that you are able to get those intuitive hits when you want to pick up on them, but not like constantly. Like say you're at like a store or the mall or something like that. You're not constantly being fed all this information.
Yeah. Yeah. I will put like a protective bubble around myself when I go to the store and stuff, because otherwise it can be overwhelming for me as an empath to like pick up on everything.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I can read people's thoughts and their minds, and I don't want to do that all the time. It's
right.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't really want to know that, but okay. Yeah. So in Reiki, you learn in your training how to clear your energy after the session. So that's really important to do. There's cords that we create with people, you know what I mean? And so we learn how to cut those cords at the end of the session. I also love selenite as a great tool to clear my energy. Yeah.
How are you doing that? Are you just kind of like waving it like through like the auric field kind of a thing, or?
Yes. So when I have a wand, one of the things I learned in my intuitive healing class was to take that wand and bring it from the top of your head down to like basically your root chakra, and then bring it back up and down, and do that 3 times. And so that's going to cut the cords.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just I'm clearly very stuck on the energy protection for a minute. But so is that something you kind of do for yourself in between seeing clients, or just like the end of the day, or like, I'm just really actually.
Yeah. We'll talk about that for a second. Energy protection, and like
you were saying that there's kind of like daily practices that you do.
Yes. So for me, I'm right now traveling. I've been kind of traveling for a while. I'm staying in Maine for a little bit, but one of the things, my go-to things, was taking a salt bath at night. Because that is like a wonderful way to clear all the energy from your auric field, from your body, anything negative or heavy. It's really beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
It just kind of pulls it out a little bit, huh?
Yes. And so what else do I do? I just make sure that I take care of myself. I know my limits and my boundaries. So I know if I'm around somebody and it's been a long day, I know I need to go sit in my bed for a little bit, or take a salt bath, or take some deep breaths, or do some pranayama breath work. But I typically will I always work with my guides and angels, and I'll call in Archangel Michael, protect me from, if I'm doing a session, surround me in a column of white light, protect me from anything that is less than divine. Really, it's important that we only work with love and light, and that we state that. And anything less than the highest light is not welcome. So That's something I do when I'm doing a session as well. But like anything, really, meditation can clear your energy. Sound healing. I like to play with my sound bowl sometimes. Walking in nature for me is huge, huge way to clear my energy. Like just getting that sunshine, being in the trees, being in wherever it is, hiking.
That
Putting
sounds so amazing.
putting a bubble of protection around yourself in the morning. Just imagine like the
Oh,
angels
wow.
dumping this white beautiful light around you and seeing yourself in this bubble and sealing that bubble. And now you can make that bubble like as thick or as thin as you want. You can make it different colors. Purple for psychic attack protection, blue for mental protection, so nobody can read your thoughts and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, so those are just like little fun things that I do that help me. Also, I'll wear jewelry, like crystal jewelry, to protect myself. Maybe carry crystals.
I love, love, love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've been actually working on that. I was actually just really working on manifesting some like abundance. And so I've have my little crystals and I have like a little pouch kind of thing. I've been just carrying them around with me. And oh my gosh, it just feels so good. You can feel the shift in the energy, like
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we actually talk a little bit about that? Like we were talking about how you kind of started with crystal healing, and I would love to learn a little bit more about that. I know it almost sounds self-explanatory, but it's kind of not.
The crystal healing, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So crystals are basically rocks from the earth, they're minerals from the earth, and they hold like healing. I don't know, I'm losing the word right now, but healing qualities, I guess, properties. And they also hold ancient information in them, same as water. And so what happens when you're using the crystals is, let's just say you're in a Reiki session and someone is laying the crystals on your body. What's going to happen is your body is so intelligent that it understands what to take from this crystal.
Whoa.
So the crystal is on your body, and your body takes what it needs from that crystal. It takes that healing and that mineral from the crystal.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so there is a level of being open to receive all of that as well. And so that's why they're so, you can program crystals and you can charge them, you can cleanse them. All that stuff is part of, being with crystals. Like, okay, so I'll tell you something. I never work with clear quartz on anybody when I'm doing energy work. Yeah, because it's such an activating crystal. And it's also like,
really?
Yeah. So it can be very, it can give that person anxiety. It can be a lot of energy.
Oh
so I don't work with it. Also, if you do have a clear quartz, that's one of the crystals you're going to want to clear a lot, because what happens is spirits can go into the clear quartz and get trapped in there. So it's really important to like cleanse those crystals. But if you're doing like a Reiki session, what you can do is, based on the color of the crystals, you can lay them on the body on that certain chakra. So for instance, if you've got a green jade crystal or even a rose quartz, you can put that on the heart space. Okay. If you've got like a darker, like a black crystal, like a black tourmaline or a bloodstone, you can put those on the root chakra.
Ooh, okay. A side note, because this is just bloodstone's been really interesting for me lately. I'm sorry, but I just like have to ask how that works with the root chakra, because I thought that was actually more for like the heart and for love and things like that. So it helps to ground you.
It helps to ground you. You can also use it for the heart chakra as well.
Oh my gosh. That's interesting. I'm going to have to read a little bit more about that later, how it interacts with the root chakra. That is really cool.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. So you're just using these, and mind you, like you stated, like these are, these crystals have been cleansed, they've been charged, and then you're putting them on like these, the parts of the body that they apply to. And then on top of that, of course, with Reiki, you're programming, you're heightening that inner wisdom and like all of the different symbols. And so that's like allowing the energy to then just flow.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I think it's so healing. Like, seriously, my first Reiki session, I felt amazing. I texted the practitioner after and I was like, I sound crazy, but I swear the colors are brighter. Like I'm looking at this tree and it's like it's actually really green and the sky is more blue and I feel more open, more energetic. I just feel like clear.
Yeah.
It's such a good feeling. And then just on top of that, like we were talking about earlier, just how you can do it from a distance, you can like help to, I don't know if you want to say program or what it would be, but you can, heighten that feeling from a distance.
Oh yeah. 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 You can.
What I'm trying to say.
Yeah. It doesn't know, the Reiki the holy fire energy or Reiki energy does not know time or space. It just does not. It's above that. It's it comes from a different realm. So yeah, you can program it to come at a certain place or time.
Is this, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was done.
Is this something that, we need to be doing daily, or is this something that we can do, after maybe like a traumatic type of event or when we feel just kind of like some stuck energy or that kind of thing?
I think cleaning the energetic hygiene is just as important as physical hygiene. So us brushing our teeth and like showering and cleaning the energy out is so important too. I think it's something that we can incorporate into our lives. If it's not every day, it's every few days a week, for yourself. But now if you're going to a practitioner, I think it just depends on what's going on in your life. Some people want to come once a month. Some people want to come once every 3 months. I always tell my clients, like when I come up in your mind and you're like thinking about Reiki, that's when you need another one,
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting because we have all these different layers to our auric field, and each layer tells a story about us, and each layer is sort of ever changing. But, it's important to keep these clean. It's important to keep our energy clean because we know what it feels like when we don't keep our energy clean, right? We can feel heavy, we can feel blocked, we can feel sad, or just, we sort of forget about the bigger picture of life, that we're spirit, that we're an essence that goes on forever. Like we don't die, only the physical body does.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Yeah. When you're feeling unblocked and you're feeling so connected to spirit, to the universe, it's just, that's probably one of the most amazing feelings ever. I mean, you just feel so in tune, aligned. I remember when I felt so good like that. And I just knew like what was going to happen. And I knew like how my day was going to go, and you just can manifest left and right. And it's just so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, love that. I love this. This is like such a good talk. I'm sorry. I kind of like took you all over the place, but I'm like, I want to hear this and this. Like, this is amazing. How can people work with you? Like, where's the best way to reach you and to, book a session?
Yeah, that's a great question. I have a lot of changes happening right now. I was Sarah Earth Aura, and I'm now changing to Sarah of the Light. So a lot of, my website and stuff is being redone, but you can go to Instagram, my Instagram page, and at Sarah of the Light. And you can either message me to book something or click in the link tree and set up an appointment with me.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Oh, you know what? I always like to ask before we end the call, I always want to ask if you could share, and I'm sure you have a million, but if you could share one tangible tip for self-love, what would you, suggest for the audience, or what would you share? Just something kind of simple that you love to do.
Like a physical or an emotional or mental?
It could literally be anything. I love this question. It always gets, so many random responses that are amazing.
Okay. So I guess this could be self-love. For me, is one of the things that's helped me the most is learning to be your best mother, father, sister, brother,
Oh,
friend, and lover. And, at a time when your inner child needs you most, that's when you get to step up and be that part of yourself. And
mm.
honestly, I like to give myself a hug sometimes. Like if I'm
Yeah,
feeling, anxious, or I've had like an encounter and I just, I'm safe. That's something I do too. There's so many. I guess
I know.
my main go-to is to place my hand on my heart, close my eyes, take a deep breath, and just say that I am safe.
Ah, that's perfect.
And that's like, connecting to my heart space. I'm loved. I love myself. I'm safe. All is well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That can lead me down another path of talking about so
I
many
know.
things.
I know. It's a
I
rabbit
love
hole. You could
that.
just
That's
go down there.
beautiful. But just knowing you're there for yourself and
Yeah.
you have yourself. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for talking so much about all these tips and just Reiki in
Yeah.
general. Like that's really awesome. I'll have to have another chat with you sometime about light language. Like that's also so
Yes.
intriguing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yay, I'm so happy you were able to make it to another awesome episode. Don't forget, if this resonated with you, take a screenshot, tag me in it on Instagram at enlightened.wellness. Or if it's something that one of your friends needs to hear, don't hesitate to send it out. Let's get this message across. Have a blessed day.